is a PowerPoint presentation on training and education of portable fire extinguishers by Brant Dugas. This training is required for any company that will require their employees to have training and education on portable fire extinguishers, mainly industrial and oil field workers. This training addresses the general principles of fire extinguisher use and the hazards involved with incipient stage firefighting in accordance with OSHA 1910.157. Participants must attend to receive full credit, and 80% or higher must be scored on the test to pass this class. Upon completion of this course, the participant should be able to A. Explain the difference between the types of fire extinguishers. B. Recall the steps of how to properly use the different types of fire extinguishers. C. List the components of fire tetrahedron. D. Identify the different classes of fires. And E. Explain how to properly inspect the different types of fire extinguishers. There are also currently no prerequisites for this course of the training and education of portable fire extinguishers. Components of a fire consist of heat, fuel, oxygen, and chain reaction. Take one of these four things away, and a fire will not continue to burn. Heat, fuel, and oxygen, we all know, are components of a fire. Recently, chain reaction was given to a component of fire. Chain reaction is the feedback of heat to the fuel to produce gaseous fuel used in the flame. In other words, chain reaction provides heat necessary to maintain a fire. These are the four components to complete your tetrahedron. 5 classes of a fire. There's A class, B class, C, D, and K. Your A class fires would consist of common combustibles, wood, paper, cloth, etc. B class is flammable liquids and gases, such as gasoline, propane, diesel, and other solvents. C class would be your electrical equipment, computers, fax machines, any type of electrical equipment, outlets, extension cords, electrical tools, anything like that. D is combustible metals. Magnesium, lithium, titanium, aluminum is also in that category. And K class, which is cooking. Your cooking oils, fats, anything in the kitchen that can catch fire. There are many different types of fire extinguishers. You have a dry chemical, CO2, foam, water, and a wet chemical. Dry chemical has many different types of powders. You can have an ABC, a purple K, a 50 plus, many different kinds. And they are used in A, B, and C fires. CO2 extinguishers, mainly used on C class fires, can be used on B, but a fire could reignite on a B class fire. Foam fire extinguishers are safer than H2O or water fire extinguishers used on A, B, and C fires, but not recommended on C fires. Water fire extinguishers are probably your cheapest because water is very easy to accumulate and can be used on just A class fires. Wet chemical, these extinguish your K class fires, which is your kitchen fires, which is your greases and cooking oils, any kind of fire in the kitchen. Inspection of a dry chemical, water, foam, and wet chemical fire extinguisher. All of these mostly have a pressure gauge, so they are all pretty much inspected the same. First, you're going to check your pressure gauge. Check the integrity of your shell for rust, corrosion, dent, damage. Check the discharge hose, horn, and handle for cracking, cut, or damage. And also check the instruction label for visibility. Make sure it's not damaged, ripped off, or anything like that. You can also check your tag. Make sure it's punched for this month, Make sure you still have a safety seal that indicates that the fire extinguisher has not been messed with. And here's a short video. It's a dry chemical fire extinguisher. I'm explaining how to properly inspect one. So when you get to one, first thing you want to do is you want to check your tag. Make sure it's punched for this month. You want to check the safety seal, make sure it's not broken. Then you want to check the gauge. Make sure it's in the green, not the red. Make sure it's good to go, fully charged. Then you want to check the hose and the horn. Make sure neither one of them is cut, cracked, corroded, all good, no dry rots. And you want to check the handle. Make sure your handle's not bent, broken, it's fully functional. And you can go and check the shell of the fire extinguisher. You want to check it, make sure there's no dents, no rust, no corrosion. Check the bottom, same thing, make sure there's no dents, rust, corrosion. And then last thing you should inspect is make sure the instruction labels are clearly written, visible, they're not torn off or any part of it's missing. That's it. Inspection of a CO2 fire extinguisher. Check the integrity of the shell. Check the hose, horn, and handle for cuts, cracks, or damage. Check the instruction label for damage. Make sure it's not ripped off or any of the instructions are missing. And make sure the CO2 fire extinguisher meets the full weight requirements. Also check your tag, make sure it's inspected this month, and your safety seal. Here's another short video of how to inspect it. This is a CO2 fire extinguisher. I'm going to show how to properly inspect one. First thing you want to do when you get to it is you want to check, make sure the tags are punched, ready, and inspected for this month. Check your safety seal, make sure it's there, not broken, indicated that it hasn't been messed with. Also, you want to check your hose and your horn. Make sure everything's good, not cut, not cracked, not corroded. Next, you want to check the shell of the fire extinguisher. You want to make sure there's no dents, no rust, no corrosion. No paint can be missing, that's alright. And last, there's no gauge to indicate the pressure of it. These are measured by weight. So that will, on the label itself will indicate how much this one should weigh. Get a scale, weigh it. It will give you a full weight and an empty weight on the gauge, so you'll be able to tell. The pass method. This is the method to explain how to properly use a fire extinguisher. Pass. Pull safety pin, aim at the base of the fire, squeeze the handle, and sweep side to side at the base of the fire. Here's a video explaining.
Let's talk about pass very quickly. Pull, aim, squeeze, sweep for fires. You want to make sure you pull the pin. A is for aiming, the nozzle at the base of the fire. You want to squeeze the handle, and you want to make a low sweeping motion with the fire extinguisher. So that's just a little tip for today. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a safe day, and we'll see you soon.
Also, to note that when using a CO2 fire extinguisher, you want to make sure that it is grounded before you squeeze the handle and extinguish the fire. It can cause a little shock from static electricity. A review and recall of this PowerPoint slide. Explain the differences between the types of fire extinguishers. You want to know the different, the CO2, dry chemical, foam, water, and wet chemical. Recall the steps of how to properly use the different types of fire extinguishers. List the components of the fire tetrahedron. You want to know the heat, fuel, oxygen, chain reaction. Identify the different classes. You want to know the A class, B class, C, D, and K class, and explain how to properly inspect the different types of fire extinguishers. Thank you for viewing this presentation.